Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Longweaver. I'm the editorial director for the Tennessee Tribune. And our guest today is Connie Kinnard, who's the Senior Vice President, MultiCultural Sales and Development for the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. So, that's a mouthful.
Yes,
so,
it
Connie,
is.
tell us a little bit. What is it exactly that you do?
I work for the Convention and Visitors Corporation, as you mentioned, and our overall job is to bring business to Nashville, tourism, visitors, conventions, and we work with events. Now, specifically, I work in the multicultural department. So my job is to support things in Nashville that are diverse, things that look like us to come into the city, conventions, and help to market to visitors to come in and show them what Nashville has to offer.
Okay, all right. That sounds really good. So Nashville has become the it city. I mean, you see it everywhere. It's in commercials, it's in magazines, and it's Condé Nast has said it's one of the top 5 travel destinations in the world.
Yes.
So is it also true, are more African Americans coming to Nashville as well as a destination city for vacations? Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. I'm seeing on both sides. I see it on the leisure side as far as visitors coming in the city, just like you and I would pick a city to go take a vacation or just to go visit. Just seeing more and more an increase in African Americans in the city. And I think, it has to do with our diversity. For so many years, you only heard about one side of Nashville. And over the years, I think we all, and not just us at the Convention and Visitors Corporation, that's what we do, but it's a city thing for this diversity to happen. I think more and more everybody is understanding that Nashville is a diverse city, and others outside of Nashville are seeing that. So from a leisure side and also from a convention side, there is so much interest in Nashville. I am a part of this group called the Coalition of Black Meeting Planners.
Oh, okay.
And it is a group of African American meeting planners and suppliers.
That's
national, nationwide. And the interest is there for our city. And so we've got several things in the works for the future. So yes.
Can you tell us what any of those things are? And one of the reasons I wanted to chat with you today was to talk about how tourism fared in 2014 and sort of looking toward 2015. If this is the it city, what's on the horizon for us?
So let me give you just an overview of the overall hospitality numbers. So in 2013, tourism hospitality generated $4.99 billion in direct tourist spending.
For the city of Nashville.
For the city, yes.
Wow.
It produced $1.15 billion in worker income, paychecks as far as the industry. It brought 12.2 million visitors to the city.
Is that right? Wow.
Overall.
And that's in 2013.
In 2013.
Okay.
And so what I'm finding is that in those numbers, of course, there are African American and multicultural groups in those numbers. Just for confidentiality, some of the larger groups that we're working right now, because they're not definite, I won't name.
Okay.
But in the past, we've had some of the largest groups nationwide in Nashville. We've of course had National Association of Black Engineers here. We've had the National Black Accountants here, of course, over the years, aka National Medical, National Dental. We've had all the major players. AME Church had their quadrennial here.
Right. That was in 2012.
Yes. So Nashville's had all the major players. The interest is there for our city, and it continues to be one of the key places for African American meetings. We have more in our inventory now, of course, with the new convention center expansion, and of course we have Gaylord. So actually now we have even more to sell.
Oh wow! And so how are the sales going? Are there what challenges are there for you trying to solicit businesses or conventions to come to Nashville?
So they're twofold, and they're not actually major challenges, but I think always we will continue in Nashville to somewhat have a little bit of perception, and that's why we have to continue. I have to continue our office, and we do that, has to continue to to promote Nashville as a total destination and showcase all of Nashville. So we'll always have that, but I will tell you, I've been with the Convention and Visitors Bureau now, it's coming up on 19 years.
Wow, okay.
What I experienced my first 10 years there is totally different from now. Now that challenge or that perception is just not there like it used to be.
Really?
Just not there. I mean, the groups now, they used to ask me, well, what's in Nashville? What's there to do? Now I hardly ever get that question. I mean,
really?
I always showcase, of course, what we have to do as far as African American interest and things like that. But that's not the question I get. So that challenge, maybe there's some, but it's nothing like it used to be.
Okay.
I think the other challenge is one of those. It's a good challenge in some ways because we're such a hot city.
Right.
Right now, there are certain dates. It's just hard to get conventions in because they're already booked.
Oh, really? How far out? How far out are you?
Oh, wow. We have groups looking in Nashville from 2023. I mean,
Really?
we have groups looking that far out.
Wow.
And so what we encounter is we'll get all the interest for certain years and certain time periods in Nashville, and they're already booked. It's not saying that we're totally booked from now to then, but I'm just saying we've got a lot on the books now, so kind of hard to get in. And because we're in demand, we're a little pricey right now in the market.
Okay.
However, that's not a bad problem to have.
No, I think that sounds like a good
That's
problem to have.
that's a great thing for the city. But as we get more hotels in our inventory, some of that pricing will kind of balance out and make it more affordable for all groups to come to the city.
Now, is it attractive also for smaller groups, like you named some of the national larger groups, but smaller groups? Would a family reunion be a good thing?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I mean, we go after the big groups. We want people coming in large numbers, but the sweet spot right now really is the smaller groups to come in here and get some of those dates that are open in better rates. So have a lot of interest of board meetings, national board meetings to look at. And board meetings for national groups are a lot larger than what we would normally think. But smaller meetings, family reunions are always the big draw from July to August time frame. Get a lot of inquiries about family reunions. Everybody has family from the South.
Right.
And Nashville's such a great driving city. We're within 600 miles of 50% of the population.
Right.
So it's an easy drive spot for reunions. And so we definitely get a lot of those.
Now, so coming here, African Americans, there's a publication looking at what's to do for African Americans in Nashville.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit about
absolutely.
that?
So a couple of things. If you go to our website, which is visitmusiccity.com, we have a listing of multicultural interest, African American interest in all groups that if somebody wanted to look on our website they could see. In addition to that, we partner with a company, Kinnard and Associates, on the African American Guide to Nashville. And this is it. This is this year's book, and it featured Dr. Bobby Jones, which we always focus and feature on somebody from Nashville or some connection to Nashville. And this is a supplemental book that we use for convention groups to give out, for leisure travelers to use, to kind of get flavor about the city.
And so you have restaurants, you have other events that are listed.
Attractions. Some of the key events that happen every year are in here as well. But in addition to that, you can go online to the African American Guide to Nashville, which is just the acronyms of that. And also there are events there, which, of course, online, the more current events, you can go online and check that as well. So it has become a great supplement and interest for visitors that come in.
Oh, great.
We go through probably between 15 to 20,000 of those a year.
Oh, really?
And we always run out.
Wow.
So the interest is there.
So the 2015 is now on the press, and
the 2015 is now, and actually the 2015 will showcase a big, I'll say this, it's on country soul.
Oh, really? Okay.
Country soul, and it's the biggest name in the African American community country soul, which will be featured on the front of the cover of this.
Okay, so that means we all need to pick up our copy or go to the website. And
Right.
how soon? In
Yes.
January? Or?
Yes, this will be
Okay.
out in January, by
Okay.
mid-January.
By mid-January?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about the nickname for Nashville, Music City.
Yeah.
Because people, if the question, this is Music City,
Mm-hmm.
and the music that comes here is diverse.
That's right.
But wasn't nicknamed Music City because of
Right.
country music, which is what most people think,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the Jubilee singers at Fisk. Is that
Right. I mean, when we tell the story about Nashville, we always give homage to the Jubilee singers for making it the foundation of the music that we have in Nashville. We oversee the convention and corporation. We oversee the Walk of Fame in Nashville. And it's located right downtown in Walk of Fame Park, which is the area in front of the Hilton.
Oh,
And we do induction of stars, every year, a couple times a year.
right.
And our first induction ceremony, the Jubilee Singers, I think actually were the first star as far as is in that group, because of the significance and importance of Fisk and making that be our foundation. So yes, we are Music City, but we are based on, with them, gospel music and Negro spirituals.
Right.
But from that, we are a great Christian music area. We are a great jazz area. Great country music area. We claim that. But
Now you're saying country soul as well.
country soul as well, and all of those connections are showcased in the city, and we're excited because we will also get a National Museum of African American Music, which will also continue to talk about the connections of music to Nashville here locally and nationally.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about the museum. I know it's there's been fundraising for it for a few
Absolutely.
years, and has there been a groundbreaking yet? Where are we with that?
So the museum will be located in the space where our old convention center was.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so
it
is right downtown.
okay, so off of South Broadway.
Right, that's right between Broadway and Commerce, by the Renaissance Hotel. So it is going to be in a great location for tourists. And we are excited about that because when this project first started years ago, just the thought about it over the years, the group then looked at the Nashville offerings and said, what else do we need in the city to, I won't even say complete, because even after this we hope that there'll be more things to come,
Right.
but to augment our offering. And they thought that we needed a museum that talked about African American culture at that time. And over the years it has formed that we need a music museum that shows the contributions of African Americans to the popular culture overall.
Great.
This is a national museum that just happens to be located in Nashville.
Right. Okay.
So
another reason to come.
Another reason to come.
to
And
Nashville.
tentatively, we're looking at 2017
For the opening?
For the opening 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
great. All right. That's actually not that far away.
not that far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so tell me a little bit about what we can expect, what may be on the horizon for 2015. What are we seeing?
2015, I think that as we lead up in talking about the museum, there's a different strategy as far as promoting Nashville nationally. We will have that major attraction, and I think that you will see Nashville on a level that maybe you haven't seen us before, because although we have several things here that all people are interested in, I think the addition of that museum will take us to another level. We already have a nice lineup of annual events that happen that kind of are spread out through the year. Of course, we have our African Street Festival. We've had the Soul Food Festival over the year. We had a run of 12 years for the Stellar Gospel Music Awards.
Exactly.
And this particular year, they decided to do something different. I think it's their 30th year.
Yes.
So they're doing something different, but they're still our friends, and
our friends will be coming back.
And our friends will be coming back, and we've
Okay.
got some other things working potentially with the Stellar folks. So we already have a great menu of events, and I'm always excited when somebody calls me to say I have an idea, about an event. How can you all help? And so always looking forward to that. But I just think I see 2015 really growing,
Okay.
and then 2016 even more with events
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
conventions.
So continual growth. That's
Yeah,
great.
I see
Okay.
continual growth.
Mhm.
I think we have it, and I'll have to give a shout out to our colleges here as well, because a
Right.
lot of the things that they do add to that overall package. You know, I'll have to TSU. You know, between the John Merritt Classic and homecoming
Right.
and
A lot of people come into town.
a
for
lot of
that.
things for those things. So I just think all that will continue to grow.
Great. All right. Well, thank you today, Connie, for
You're welcome.
taking time to talk with us at the Tribune.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. And
Thank
give us
you.
your website if people want more information.
Okay.
Where can they find it?
Okay, so our website is visitmusiccity.com, www.visitmusiccity.com, and definitely check it out for events and information happening in the city.
All right. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.